Yeah, guys, welcome. As Tyler said, my name's Caleb. I'm working along with Tyler. If you guys end up joining and becoming part of the group, I'm going to be the main guy that you're going to be talking with and asking questions to and communicating with on a day-to-day basis. Tyler's kind of like, if you think of this whole thing like Wizard of Oz, he's the wizard. He's doing all the software engineering and all that stuff, and I'm like Dorothy. I'm just leading you down the yellow brick road to get to him. So. Um, uh, with that said, these kind of calls, I don't know where you guys are at with your trading stuff. I don't know what kind of history you have. I know that you came here because you probably are looking to get better returns on what you've been doing. So I guess if it's cool with you guys, just kind of like do a little round robin and say like what your experience is in trading and why you're here. And to preface that, like don't worry, this is not like a high pressure sales call. We're not going to push you into anything, and it's not going to go long. We're just basically going to see where you guys are at. Love to tell you what we're doing, and if you want to be part of it, good to go. And if you don't, great, man. Hopefully, you can find something that'll work for you. And yeah, so if you're cool with it, let's kind of start. Just give me like a quick 30-second, 2-minute thing of like who you are, where you live, and what your trading experience is up to this point. Let's go double A Ron. Let's start with you.
Howdy, good evening. So my name's Aaron, or Aaron, as Caleb said. Personally, I've known Tyler for a while, but I've watched him build this from the ground up. Watched it turn from a dream to a reality, and the truth be told, my experience in the stock market is limited, and trading is relatively limited. I've kept up with a lot of things that Tyler has provided in the past, but this is just as much a learning experience for myself as it could be for anybody else in regards to details and how to, manage yourself. And I'm familiar with the software side of things, but otherwise, how we do this is always a learning experience in my mind. So I have a lot of room to grow.
Cool. Right on. Thanks, Aaron. Glad to
Thank
have
you,
you.
Aaron.
Christian, if let me see if you're in, yep, Christian, you up next. You have anything to contribute? Want to tell us about like what your history is in trading or what you're looking to get out of this? All right, we'll come back to you.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, he's saying he can't talk right now. The baby
cool.
is baby's
Yep.
sleeping.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no worries. David, you're up if you can talk. If you can't talk, you can send us a message. I see you. I see you hiding in the dark. Looks like you're driving, maybe.
Yeah, looks like he might be driving.
All right, David, don't talk to us if you're driving. Don't talk and drive. Larry, welcome.
Hey,
How's it going?
good, good. So let's see. Been trading for about 2 years. Started in options. Now I primarily just trade futures and QES,
Cool.
that kind of stuff, and just looking for the next, keep my learning, so to speak.
Cool. Right on. Do you have a specific strategy you like trading?
Primarily support resistance type.
Okay.
Um,
Liquidity zones,
yeah.
open, high, low, stuff like that. Cool.
Yep.
Right
Yep.
on. Cool. Cool. Well, thanks, Larry. Glad to have you. Um, And we're doing this kind of round robin, not because we don't want to talk to you guys more. If you have more to say, we're open to it. Just want to try to keep it organized to begin with. Let's see. Rick, you're up. If you can hear me, if you can talk, I'll give you 5 more seconds. All right, cool. Solomon's Riches. It's a cool name. If you can, if you want to tell me about what your experience is and what you're hoping to get out of this, it'd be helpful to me. Can you hear me? All right. Christian says looking for consistency in futures prop trading like IFVGs. Let's see, pop up this again here.
That's inverse fair value gaps.
Yeah, I know. Liquidity training. Cool. Right on. Um, okay, cool. If anybody else wants to chat and they didn't get a chance to come in here yet.
Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Hey, welcome.
Hey, thank you, thank you, thank you. How you guys doing? Good evening.
Good evening.
Evening.
So I'm in the great state of Texas. The weather was pretty nice, a little bit cold, it rained a little bit. So we have that going on.
Are you a
I
Cowboys fan?
I'm in Houston, so I would just say that.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
I know, right? Fair enough. But yeah, I'm fairly new to trading. I started off in futures, not futures, but forex instead. Dabbled
Okay.
a little bit into options, and now beginning to learn and study more about futures. So I saw the ad, I believe, on Instagram, and I like some things that I saw in there. So I decided to, book a call to get some more information.
Cool. Right on. Well, happy to have you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's see if there's anybody else that wants to chime in. Now's your time or later. All right, cool. So for those of you who are here, you're here because you clicked on an ad that said basically advertising Tyler, who's StaxInvesting. He's the returns that he's had and the strategy that he's come up with is a pretty consistently profitable strategy, depending on how you take it and how you run with it. So one of the things that he has offered in the past is a boot camp that basically will take you into his mind, show you how he manually trades, and show you how that goes, which ultimately is what this call is about. It was it's basically a sales call for that. But the wrench I want to throw in the system is that we're actually taking a different direction. So that has been available for a little while, but per um, basically popular request, people who join that ultimately are more interested in some of the other projects that we have going on. And to be honest with you, Tyler and myself are way more interested in the other things that we are offering right now. And so we're putting all of our efforts into a different side of it, which is actually automation. And that we find is much more a consistent returns. Um, it's a lot better way to trade. I personally have traded since I was 15 years old. My grandpa introduced me to trading. I used to have a little Fidelity account, and I would call in to Fidelity every day on the phone, and I would plot chart out the price every day on a graph paper, and I would graph it out, and I would call my grandpa, and I would tell him, "Hey, I think we should buy this one or sell that one," and do my research. And then over the years, I've been involved with stock trading, options, crypto, DeFi, uh, futures, most all of it. I don't have much experience in Forex at all, but I've been in and around it. But one of the things I've found is that there's a lot of strategies out there that work. There's a lot of profitable strategies. I know you guys are talking about liquidity zones. You've got opening range breakouts. You've got um,
ICT.
yeah, you've got trend lines. You've got reversals. You got all of that stuff. And I've tried a lot of them. And the thing with manually trading is not necessarily the strategy, but it's how you can consistently stay true to your rules when you're trading. And the problem is that and I'm saying that all of us here, including myself, my biggest issue is with emotionally trading. So when I'm in a trade and it starts going the wrong way, I'll get out, or I start making money and it goes up and I get out too early and my wins outweigh my or get outweighed by my losses because I'm trading emotionally, it never is profitable. And so one of the things that I have really been excited about recently, and which is actually what led me to Tyler, and we started talking, and now we're working together, is the automation side of trading, because it takes the human element out of it where our emotion gets the best of us, and instead we can rest in that rational state of being where we can come up with a strategy, we can implement it, and then let the automation take over. And if it wins, awesome. If it doesn't, then we go back to our settings, we adjust things, and we move forward without that. So that's the side that I'm really excited about. And the cool thing with what Tyler has going on right now is that he's kind of the whole package going on, where he came up with a strategy and indicators and a system that will alert um, pretty accurately. I mean, like 98% probability that it will continue in the direction that it alerts. And then he takes that alert system, which is good on its own, but then he created a whole automation system to go with that. So we can take those alerts, we can remove our emotions, and the whole thing becomes just this machine that starts working. So that's the thing that we're really excited about. So to save everybody's time, we are not talking about manually trading, and we're not talking about doing a boot camp, which was originally what this ad was for. So if you are not interested in automation, or you don't have the experience to understand what we're talking about, totally fine. There's other things out there for you. Um, so I want to be respectful of your time. And if you don't feel like that's for you, thank you for showing up. I appreciate it. And definitely keep us in mind as you go further down that road and look into automation. Um, if you decide to stay on and you're interested in automation, that's what we're going to talk about. And it's going to be kind of off the cuff, because this is, usually on these things, we talk about, hey, this is the life you want. And we're going to sell you, and you're going to get Lambo in 3 years. And you're going to have this supermodel wife. And, we sell you on the dream, right? That's, if you've ever been on one of these calls before, is like, hey man, what would you do with $1 million? What would you do with this? What would you like? I don't have to sell you on what you would do with more money. Like, that's ridiculous. We all want to be there. We all, whether we want it for ourselves, we want it to give away to somebody else. That's, you know, I think it's silly when we spend so much time trying to convince people why they want money. What we're here to do is just tell you about our system and tell you what works about it and what we're working on to bring to you in the future, and what we're excited about. And if you find that that's something that excites you, we would love to have you, and we'd love to have you join our our group that we're building up of people who are really excited about not just trading but automation and helping other people in the group succeed. Tyler could be he is very successful on his own, and I'm learning from him. I'm walking that way every day. But he's here because he wants to help you succeed, and I can truly attest to that. That's why I'm here, is because I know that he is here to help us succeed. So, um, let me turn it over to Tyler. He's the wizard behind the curtain. Let him kind of show you what the automation system is about, and then I'll take over after that, kind of telling you where we're going to go and answer any questions you guys have. And again, no high pressure on this. Okay, we're not going to call you tomorrow. I'm not gonna send you an email begging you to join this. This is purely if this is something that sounds interesting to you. So if anytime at this point you're like, nope, not for me, cool. We appreciate your time. Hope you have a great rest of your night. Enjoy the football game. Um, but if it is for you, we'll try to cover as much uh, information as we can to help you best understand where we're at. And if you want to join us, then we're stoked to have you. So, Tyler, thank you.
Yeah, so thank you, Caleb. That was excellent explanation. Far better than I would have done. But yeah, my name is Tyler Sanford. I'm a Marine Corps veteran. I'm was a self-taught software engineer. I've been developing since I was 14 years old. I've been professionally developing now for 9 years. For Fortune 500 companies. Along the years, I've worked for JB Hunt, American Airlines, and currently I work for Toyota Financial Services. So it's a major bank, and I'm developing software professionally at my 9 to 5 job, where we are the system that determines if dealerships can get loans for hundreds of millions of dollars. And I'm in the nitty-gritty of the financials and the software and everything. That's my expertise. And as a hobby, I'd like to trade, and I've been trading since 2014. Um, and I lost a lot of money along the way. I didn't really have direction. Joined a bunch of different Discord groups along the way. They were really only after my money. And I lost. And then ultimately, I decided that I would take my software skills and I would try to figure out a way to become profitable using software. I spent thousands of hours researching YouTube videos and backtesting strategies and writing my own trading view indicators with Pine script and Python code and anything you can think of. I've probably tried it to try to come up with how I could become profitable. And I've been working on this software thing since 2019. And I came up with my own strategy that I call the dual trend strategy. It's an indicator that I've created on TradingView. And it basically applies my strategy that I came up with to multiple time frames. So it's going to look at your chart time frame and then multiple higher time frames. And when all the different time frames agree, they all agree that the strategy believes that you should go long for calls or short for puts, then it puts out an alert. And we've been manually trading with my strategy live with real money since 2023. I've made back everything that I've lost. I've made several $100,000 along the way. I'm quite profitable, all on my own, but um, I like to help people. First I targeted my friends. Any of my friends who cared to listen to me along the way. I did everything I could in my power to teach them my strategy, to teach them how they could make money just like I am. And I wanted to short circuit, the whole learning process. And why even waste your time losing when I have something that's been working for me? And, let me show you that. So I've been teaching since 2023. But again, with my software background, I always had it in the back of my mind that I wanted to automate this. So in about November 2024, I actually began on the automation journey, writing my own software. I put together, my own trading software. I'm not using any other broker software or any other package that might be out there. I built this myself from the ground up, and it follows, the rules that you set within the software, and it by default takes alerts from my dual trend strategy. But I built the software in a way where it is highly configurable and highly dynamic, so you're not locked into using my dual trend strategy. You can use the software with any strategy that you want, whether that be you have your own code or maybe even you're already in a trading group and you like their calls. You can use the automation software with their calls. If you like a trading view indicator, or maybe you already have some indicators or something that you use, you can wire it up to the software and it will take your trades. The software has at least 20 or more different settings right now that you can trade with. You want to enter by limit entry, by market entry, what your stop loss should be, what your take profit should be. Do you want those to be hard set orders? Do you want to use bracket orders? Do you want to have a trailing stop loss? I know a lot of the brokerages don't offer an automated trailing stop loss, but my software does. So you can configure that, whether you want it to be a static percentage, a static dollar amount, or a dynamic amount. There's break-even functionality. Um, there is um, daily kill switch. So, if you make a certain amount of profit and you want to stop trading for the day, you can set that to hit your target and lock you out. Um, we're constantly adding new features, such as some of the new features we're working on is like a dynamic break-even functionality, a um, orders where you have a take profit and a trailing stop loss. So basically, your it shrinks. So as the price is going up, your trail is shrinking, and you have a set target. So then, it takes away the amount that you can lose. Either you're going to hit your profit or you're going to get stopped out in profit. We're working on like a stop loss kill switch as well. Basically, you set a dollar amount that, if you lose more than this amount in a day, then don't take any more trades. I've built an entire back testing platform, which, if you've ever worked with back testing on TradingView or NinjaTrader or anything like that, um, you don't really have access to the options data. Once the options data expires, it's gone. But what I've done is for every trade that I've ever alerted since 2023, I have saved the minute by minute data for for the options chain. So then, in my own back testing platform, I'm not just going back in history on the main ticker, which is what all the competition does. I'm doing my back testing on the options chain and the minute by minute pricing, the open, high, low, close on all the strikes um, for the tickers that I care about. And I can tell you, I can go back all the way to 2023 and I can look at any strike and I can tell you exactly how much drawdown we saw to hit different targets. And, that this data is what gives me and my group the edge. Because I do my analysis on the options. The dual trend strategy has a win rate as high as 97%. And that's 97% of the time that the trade will hit at least 5% profit or more. Anytime that an alert hits less than 5%, I don't count that as a win. I count that as a loss. So in my advertising, when I say that the dual trend strategy has a 97% win rate, that's, 97% of the time you're going to hit 5% profit or more. Which then, with the automation software, the default conservative strategy that I provide to members who might not be very experienced with trading, that targets the 5% guarantee that we have. And then you add trailing to that, and you won't just be hitting the 5% on average, you'll be hitting 15, 100. We have guys who have even hit like 2 to 500% on a single trade. So, um, out of all our members currently, at least 90% are profitable. And that comes down to the settings that you set because, yes, we can offer a default conservative strategy, which is what I use on my account and what I advertise. But some people don't want that. Some people want to be more aggressive. Some people want to set their own strategy and set their own settings and try to come up with as much money as they can. And that's what I've built my software to do. I don't, although we offer a default conservative strategy that has a profitable win rate, you're going to win using our default, I would like people to want to adjust settings and work with each other in my community as a team to try to come up with, what is the most profitable strategy? What alerts, what settings with the software, like what can we do to make the most amount of money possible? And that's really where my new direction is at and where I'd like to focus on. Um, Caleb brought some excellent ideas from his past experiences, and one of the offerings that we'd like to bring is a marketplace where we can try to target um, other communities or other profitable traders who, with incentives might want to bring their strategies and put it on our marketplace. Somebody else who's making millions of dollars or manages large accounts, they can come bring their winning strategy, put it on our marketplace, and any one of our members can load up the automated software, select their strategy, and the strategy's going to copy trade their winning strategy. So, right now, currently, we just offer the dual trend strategy, and you can adjust the software any way you'd like, but um, it's an exciting road ahead. I'd like to say it in the next 1 to 6 months, we'll be able to get to where we vision everything I just talked about. Um, Maybe I'll pass it back off to Caleb for right now. I hate to get too technical. I often will do that, so maybe I'll pass it off to Caleb again to expand on my thoughts, and then I'd be happy to show you my account, what the indicator looks like on the charts, and what our current member base is achieving using our software. So
Yeah,
thank you guys.
cool. Thanks, Tyler. Good stuff. As you guys can see, like Tyler's into it, and he's a smart dude, and he knows what he's doing as far as coding and all of the experience he has, and all the time and effort he's put in to get to this point. So, um, I'm stoked to be working with him for sure. Just to kind of expand on some of the things he was talking about, with the marketplace that we're coming up, like, yeah, we could totally uh, pull in people who are managing hedge funds or whatever. But at the same time, if you guys have a strategy that you love and you love trading it, and you be like, man, I have this strategy, whether it's opening range breakout or liquidity zones or whatever it is that you love trading, and it's a profitable strategy. However, it's not profitable because your emotions get in the way, right? I have been there 9 billion times before. If you're that person and you love that strategy, then you could be the person to make that strategy, and we will offer it on our marketplace. Like it literally opens it up to anybody who has a good strategy that works, whether they're super successful or whether they have a strategy that works and they want it to be automated so that it can be successful. That's what the marketplace is going to be, and it's going to open it up to all of us within that automation community to use that. And I'm really excited about that because, as a trader, we all have our little strategy tricks or settings that we like and just the opportunity where we can all help each other. uh, there's that the quote that like a rising tide raises all ships. I feel like a lot of times we're all competing against each other to try to find the best strategy. But when we all, work together, that's what really helps the whole group succeed. And so, I recently took over the Discord, not took it over, but took over managing it. And my goal is to make that as information packed as we can and really get the community the best information on how we can all succeed. And as we get more settings and as we get successful strategies, We'll have discussions on who's doing what, how much they're making, all of that stuff. So anyway, that's a little bit farther down the road, and I know we're kind of feeding you with a fire hose right now. But really, what this whole system boils down to is that we have an automation system that is highly customizable. You can customize a lot more settings that you can on your regular brokerage, and you can customize it a lot more to your specific tastes as a trader and your desires of how you'd like to trade. Um, and it takes the emotion out of it. You know, if you're just following alerts from somebody else on Discord, it's up to you to put in that order as soon as it comes in and to figure out your stops. Or if you're copy trading, you're stuck to exactly what that person is trading. Where this gives you immediate um, order placement and execution when that alert comes in. And it also gives you the settings and the opportunity to change how you take that trade, you know, up to infinity of how many different settings it is. So I'm excited about it. I'm stoked to be here. And ultimately that's the direction we're taking. If it sounds interesting to you, let us know. And here's the other thing too, is that, on these calls, usually what happens is we spend the first 20 minutes buttering you up, and then the big bubble pops of like, hey, how much does this cost? And it's like, oh, it's only, I've been on calls where it's 20 grand. I've been on calls where it's 9 grand. And up to recently, we did have a buy-in for this specific automation. But after talking about it, we wanted to make it very approachable for people to come into the system and figure out if it works for them. I think that the system basically proves itself. We don't want to have to prove it to you right here, but we want to have you experience it. And if you're happy with how it's going, just stay with us. So instead of being a one-time, a big upfront cost, which by the way is what buys those Lambos and those supermodel wives, is not when you're on those calls and it's super flashy, it's because you're paying for it with that upfront cost, and we didn't want to do that. So it's a monthly fee of $400. So it's a monthly, no contract, cancel anytime, $400 fee. And we say that, hey, you should probably have a minimum of $2,000 in a trading account, a cash trading account. Just for the way that the automation works right now with the system that we have and the options trades it does, having $2,000 will give you the amount of money that you're going to need to play within a risk. You can just be able to have, a 5% risk on each trade at $2,000 or so. So you're not risking your whole amount as you're trying this out. So anyway, if you're about a $2,000 cash account, there's many people in our group that will make that $400 in 2 trades or 2 days, or at least in a week. So it'll pay for itself. And so we're confident in that. So that's why we've gone to a no contract monthly fee, monthly membership, basically, because we don't want to have to convince anybody of anything. And we just think that if you join the group and we're all part of this, I think you'll stay. I think we'll be here, and I think it'll be great to continue to build this with you guys. So before we go any further, is there any questions about anything we've talked about? I'll have Tyler get into like showing details of trades and backtesting results and all that stuff. But I know you guys just listening to this probably have some questions, and I know we kind of do it a little different than everybody else. We're not going to try to be super polished. We're not going to try to flash and bang you with all kinds of cool stuff and in a high price. So I'm going to open up the floor. You guys can either, you know what, just raise your hand in the chat. So just give me some kind of emoji or something, and we'll give you the floor, and I'll um, see if you have. Hear me, but the video stopped. All right, cool. Can anybody else see me?
Yes, I can see.
Okay, cool. Any, sorry about the video. It's looking good on my end, so we're just gonna kind of keep rolling with it. Anybody have any questions on anything I've talked about? Cool. Thanks, Solomons. What all kinds of brokers does it work with? What kind of scaling have people done with their accounts on an overall percentage basis over a year? Yeah, so I'll turn this over to Tyler, but before I do that, this is what I want you to think about. Because a lot of times, this is the question that I get all the time on Discord, and this is what I talk to a lot of people about, is they ask, what is the average return? So this is very specific for what strategy you choose. It's like walking into a gym and saying, how fit is the average person in here? It really depends because you have people that go in there and they expect someone else to do the work for them, and they don't get good returns because they don't have a good training program. Or you have people that are committed to their training program. They go in, they learn what they're supposed to learn, they apply it, and they get huge. So, what I want you to think about is this automation system is like your gym membership. And the strategy and the settings that you choose, that is like your fitness program. It's how you apply that program in the gym, both of those things together. That's what gives you the results that you want. So Tyler will talk about the averages. There are outliers. Some people, to be honest with you, some people don't make money. And here's why. They don't know anything about trading, and they don't apply a strategy that works and settings that make sense in a market. And we will help you as much as we can, but we can't force your hand. We legally can't tell you you need to do this trade. But I will also tell you that there are people who understand the stock market. They understand um, what they're doing, and they allow us to help them. And we all communicate about what settings are best, what strategy to use, and they are very profitable. So it boils down to how much are you willing to learn, how much are you willing to really understand about the system and apply it, and that will give you the results. Just like trading, it's there's no magic pill out there. It's just like trading um, where it's going to take some trial and error, but once you get down to a system that works, you will be successful. So, um, let's see, understood. Just trying to get an idea of the default size. Yep, totally. Okay, Tyler, I'll give it over to you.
Okay. So let me share my screen.
I'm just gonna walk off screen real quick. I gotta get a drink and I'll be right back.
So I'm sharing my screen, and you should be able to see Trading View here. And I have our indicator on the chart. And you can see here that, it alerts green arrow for long and red arrows for shorts. And we had an entry here at 10 a.m. and from entry it went 621 all the way to 624. So about a $3 rise right there. And then we are sending out these alerts um, on a socket stream so that you all of the automation customers are receiving it down to the millisecond. Um, and so if you had seen on um, the alerts, the daily results that we're getting here. So this was actually today. We alerted 32 trades and we had 30 wins and 2 losses. And you can see that, most of the trades here saw at least around 12% or more. Some of them went much higher, 197, 201, and so on. And I can go back days and days and days, 34 wins, 0 losses. Um, all these trades are nice, and go back another day, 36 wins, no losses. So we can go back historically, and we have the 97 percent win rate. If you were to go to our website here, StaxInvesting.com, and if you were to click on premium, you can see our historical data right here that, just in 2025 alone, we've put out 7,706 trades. Our trades are averaging 122% per trade. We have a 96% win rate currently that you will see at least 5% or greater. And we have alerted 941,000% in returns in 2025. Then you can also see the day by day. So any one of you can come to our website. We're fully transparent with all of our trades and all of our data. You can check this every day. We can go here. The daily trend is the strategy that I like to trade with the automation. But you can see that this specific strategy has a 97% win rate. The best trade that it's ever alerted was for 2,800%. And then, day by day and month by month, we can see the data, the amount of alerts that it put out, the average return, the total return for the month, and the win rate for the month. So you can see that going all the way back to January, the worst month that I'm seeing here is 94%. So, worst case, we're seeing a 94% win rate, which is still better than any other group that I've ever seen. Um, and so we take these alerts and then we send it to the software. And then my own account, which I have grown, going back to May 1st is when I started it. I started off with $1,000 in my account, and I'm currently up to 78,668. I have an 84.42% win rate, and I am averaging now $201 per trade, and I have a profit factor of 2.79. So that basically means for every dollar that I lose, I make back $2.79. You can see monthly growth, in May was 11,000. June was 1.7 thousand. Um, July, 10,000. And as you can see here, I do have losing days. There's no such thing as a strategy with 100% win rate. So, clearly, openly transparent, I do take losses. I do have red days, but I have more green days than I do have red days. So I end up with positive months, months over month over month. August was 14,000. September 1.97 thousand, October 10,000, November 17,000, and then currently this month, I haven't synced my account here in a day or two, but um, we've been working through some fixes yesterday and the day before, so. Um, but still, this month I'm up $8.21 thousand dollars on this account. So, um, you know, if you were to use the default strategy that we provide, you can have these same exact kind of returns. Although I do want to call out that the first 2 months that I was trading this, I was trading aggressive, where I was using 20% of my account per trade. And then I had a big loss in June. And this right here, you see this day. So once I had that big loss, I was like, all right, I can't keep playing this risky. I need to dial my risk back. So I've been trading with 5% risk ever since then. So, July forward has all been with the settings that we provide our members as the default conservative strategy that we call it. Um, so, there's no more $16,000 losses in a day. I still have losses here and there, but nothing major because I'm not risking 20% per trade. I'm only risking 5% per trade. Um, we have members with accounts all the way up to $85,000. Um, I'd say that our average member has about five to $10,000 in their trading account. Um, but yeah, we have members with large accounts as well. I can go here and we can see that I've been tracking the analytics on all of our members since September 3rd. Um, we've been trading with the automation since May, but I didn't originally track excuse me, the analytics of all the members. But, starting September 3rd, I started tracking the analytics. Over that time, we've grown. We've added probably about 60 new members since September. Um, and you can see here, you see the total amount of trades that were taken in a day, the amount of profit that was made in a day, the cumulative win rate. And this doesn't mean that 60% of the people are winning and 60% are losing because, with the way that you can set your settings on the bot, um, a loss could be something small like 1 to 10%, but a win can be several 100%. So your risk to reward ratio is extremely high. It's much different than manual trading. And then I can even go into daily, the amount of money that was made and who made it and what trades they took. So like one of our members here today, he made $1.8 thousand dollars. It's $1,800, and we can see that his best trade was for 122%. This guy is using our conservative strategy, our default strategy, and we can go in here and we can see the trades that he took. He took two losses, but his losses were negative 1.94%. His other loss was negative 2%, but then he took one win that went 122%. So the risk to reward on this, the amount that you win compared to what you lose is vast here. This is you're winning 60 times more than you're losing in a trade. And these are just our default conservative settings. So um I can go, um, not really sure what else, I can go over, Caleb, because, the way that the software works is it's running in the cloud on a command line, and not everybody is gonna understand the trading logs, and, I don't want to confuse anybody with that, but
No, yeah, I think that's good. I think it just kind of answers the question of is it real and are people making money off of it and what's the average? So yeah, you can kind of take that. Um, that's and like Tyler said, like that's daily data that Tyler keeps that we put up on the website, all that stuff. So it's not pick and choose of what, who got what. That's how actual automation members are trading during the day. And so, as you're talking about logs and things being in the cloud, David, you're asking, are these beginner friendly? Do you guys provide live training? How much time do you have to spend daily? So this kind of goes back to it depends on what you want to do with it. You could very easily um, sign up. Tyler could get you on the conservative strategy, and then you just don't touch it. You just you just do not touch it unless we, send out something saying, "Hey, there's an upgrade. These are the steps to upgrade." As we're always, upgrading our software side of it. Other than that, you can kind of let it go. If you enjoy getting down into the nitty-gritty of stuff, like trying to figure out the best stop losses and optimizing your settings and all the things that I like doing that sometimes drive me insane because I it's like it's like a jigsaw puzzle. I'm just constantly rearranging it. But then you can spend a lot more time on it, but I do that because I like doing it. And as far as beginner friendly, it is not beginner friendly if you know nothing about trading, which is why I wanted to talk to you guys about what your history has been. You need a basic understanding of options because the system right now, we are solely on options. So options trading, what that is, and you don't have to be an expert in it, but go down the YouTube rabbit hole of what are options, how to trade options for beginners, stuff like that to understand what is going on when the automation takes a trade for you and when it picks out an option strike price, all of the things that happen so that you understand what is going on. So, that's one of the most important things is that you have a general knowledge of the market and a general knowledge of, what a candlestick is and how to look at a chart. And again, what options are. And that's going to be very beneficial to you, especially if you want to optimize what you're doing inside the automation. So if you're like an absolute beginner, if I show you a picture of the stock market chart and you have no idea what it is, then we're here for you, but not yet. You need to educate yourself a little bit on that. And we're here when you're ready. If you can look at, can you, if you have that knowledge for those things I was talking about, then yes, that kind of a beginner, like if you're a beginner for automation, then yeah, it's a perfect place to be because we'll help you. Tyler's really good at setting you up. And not only that, the way I'm setting up Discord is I'm trying to give the best information and to be available for people's questions so that, really we can give you everything that you need. And then Tyler, on the back end of that, he's constantly creating and investing in new strategy. Oh, sorry, I got distracted by his, it's new software updates. And one of the updates, as we go further into it, is going to get a lot easier to use and to update, as a lot more of the things that are very technical right now will ultimately be kind of behind Tyler's Wizard of Oz curtain. And so we'll have a very clean web interface um, to make it even easier as we go forward. So hopefully that answered your question. Uh, if not, let me know how I can be more specific about that. I know I have to be kind of general with the questions as I don't know specifically where you're at. So anybody else have any questions?
Also, I am working on this. I'm beginning to work on this full time. So, when members come to me, we even have a feature request section here. So, members will come and post and be like, "Hey, I'd love if the software has this feature." And then I will go out of my way to add that feature and release it to everybody in the group. So, if there's some specific way that you like to trade or that your strategy requires some settings that would be required to automate your strategy, I'm more than happy to add that to the software.
Yeah, I'm not just saying this because I'm working with Tyler, but I'm working with Tyler because he is very responsive to ideas and, he's a smart dude. Um, but I think he appreciates also the ideas of other people, what they bring in, and he's very receptive to, how we can make it better, which is why I'm excited about growing this group more with people who want to be there, not just people who are looking for like the get rich quick scheme and is if you don't make $1 million in your first week that you're out. What we're really looking for is people who want to be part of this group to help us make it better. And when we make it better, everyone succeeds more. The better strategies, the better settings, the better you know, the better result it comes for all of us. Um, so Solomon, you said yes. So just options for now, yes. So right now we have our system, the alerts that we have is for options, 0 day till expiration options. So there it's day trading options for the QQQ and the SPY. Now that's what
But
we're doing right now, but
Yeah.
Yeah, Tyler, do you want to take over for
No,
that?
no, just the software is not locked into that. You can set any strategy you want. So if you like to swing trade, you can feed that into the automation.
Right. And that's one of the things, I keep talking about things we have coming down the pipeline, which we have a lot, and these are things that Tyler and I are working on. And so you're not in on the very beginning, but you're in at an exciting time because we are constantly working on developing new things. So, like Tyler was saying, he just came out with alerts for basically swing trades on like the top 40 stock um, top 40 stocks in the market. So say like Tesla and Apple and Google and all the big name stocks now have alerts that will come in for a longer trade. So they're not 0 day options. We're kind of looking at it for like a week out. We don't have that on automation yet. We also are in the pipeline is doing futures, and that will also be an automation, but it's not an automation yet. And crypto is also, we're working on that. So options for now, there's much more down the pipeline. And let me just read real quick. Larry said, I assume 0 day options. I think I saw some logs show like over 100 people per day. Is that right? The trading view indicator that you started with on Julie, is that available? Yes. So when you join, um, okay, so 100 trades per day. So we when you sign up, you won't be taking 100 trades per day. You can limit it, and you will be limited to how much money you have. A lot of times we don't even, I don't think I've seen a single day that we get 100 alerts in a day, but you can limit how many trades you take because it's a cash account. You don't, when you use, say you have $1,000 and you use $100 of that to buy an options, that $100 is basically, win or loss, it's spent for that day. And then you have $900 left. So, in that case, you could take 10 $100 trades if you had a $1,000 cash account. So I have my account set right now to not take any more than 10 trades a day. When I first signed up, it was no more than five, I believe. So it's all in the settings. You can choose, but it won't ever be 100. I think the most I've seen is maybe 12 or something.
We average between 20 and 40 alerts a day
Is that in the OG or just the daily?
across all three strategies.
Okay. So like Tyler's saying, there are three different strategies that you can choose for your automation. We use the daily trend, which is basically, um, well, do you want to talk about that? About what
Yeah,
the three
the
different are?
the
Yeah.
daily trend just takes our dual trend strategy, but then looks at a higher time frame, um, and it looks at the VWAP and it looks at the 200 EMA. And using those three things, it determines what is the current trend of the day. And then when the dual trend strategy puts out alerts, it will only send out the alerts that are in the direction of the current daily trend. So even though, OG doesn't have that filter. So OG will be putting out puts and calls all day long, but the daily trend, if it determines that on the higher time frame, the 200 EMA and the VWAP combined, that we are in an uptrend, then it will only send out calls until that daily trend changes.
Yeah, exactly. Um, a trade may come through on all the channels depending on how it's filtered. So no margin accounts. Tyler, you can talk into that if you'd
There's
like.
nothing stopping you from having a margin account. You can technically use it, but I prefer to use a cash account just because, with a margin, it is possible to lose more money than you started off with. Like you can go into the negatives because you're basically borrowing money and leveraging to try to make more, but you can also lose more. So with a cash account, it guarantees that you're only going to win or lose, add or subtract from what you have. No borrowing involved.
Yeah, perfect. Any other questions you guys have about this ecosystem we're building out and maybe how it can help you, or any ideas on how you'd like to get involved, or anything else that we can help answer for you? So for the cash, yeah, okay, Trading View indicator. Yes, when you sign up, you also will get access to the Trading View indicator. Now, Tyler can talk about this. The alerts that come through are the indicator plus a bunch of super secret mumbo jumbo in the background. So it's the indicator plus a lot more, but you will get that gets that alert, so it'll be even more accurate, but you will get access to the indicator. And what I suggest doing, totally me, you can do whatever you want, is to actually get that indicator, watch it on the charts, watch when the alerts come in, and paper trade with that indicator for a week or so just to understand the movements after the alert comes out. And so you can see kind of where it's calling those buys and those longs and those shorts, and you can understand it so that as those alerts come in, you can understand why it's choosing that. You don't have to do that, but it's definitely I would suggest it to help you with the settings on your
Yeah, I
automation.
don't ever recommend anybody to just blindly take trades. You want to understand what's going on, what you're doing, why you're doing it. If you have those kind of questions, we'll answer them. I'm the one that put this together, so anything you want to know about the strategy, I can help you with that.
Totally. Yeah, Tyler, do you want to talk about what the difference is between, say, if they're looking at the indicator and it comes up with a buy, a green buy arrow, and what the difference between that would be versus when they get an alert?
Yeah, so you can put the indicator on the chart, and it will work with in any it will work on crypto, futures, Forex, options, all of that. And it will be accurate. We have many members who manually trade futures and stuff using just the indicator alone. But for options, I've taken it a step further where, every day I put together a list of, I take the current price at the beginning of the day for SPY and QQQ because those are my two favorite ETFs to trade. They offer the most protection, you could say. There's higher chances that you can save yourself in a trade because it's weighted among many different tickers. So um, every day we get the opening price. And then I'm going 40 strikes up and 40 strikes down, both puts and calls for those two tickers. So then that puts me together a list of roughly 400 individual tickers. And then I'm taking those tickers and saving the open high low close on the minutely data, and then I am applying that same dual trend strategy to the individual ticker charts, and then doing analysis on the Greeks, and then that is how I decide. When it says QQQ is going long or QQQ is going short, that's how I determine which strike we should alert. It's based off of the volume, based off of the Greeks, and based off of which of those strikes agreed with the main chart in the quickest amount of time. So it adds that extra layer, and I believe that that is what gives us our edge. That is what allows us to have such a high win rate. Is I don't know any other group that has taken software and is doing analysis on over 400 options, strike tickers every single day. Excuse me.
Oh, recommended cash brokers. Right now, the trading system works with Tasty Trade. That's the automation broker that we are able to work with right now.
Yeah, and although a lot of brokers offer API trading, um, there's only three or less brokerages that allow you to trade options by API. And then to take it a step further, Tasty Trade is the only one that allows us to connect by a socket. So instead of waiting, I hope I'm not getting too technical, but instead of waiting several seconds for a regular post request to go through and interface with the brokerage, we can send our requests on a socket so that the brokerage gets our orders within milliseconds. And it basically cuts down the time that you enter in the trade from the time that you are receiving that trade. The alert can come through and we can be in several milliseconds later. Um, Whereas if you were to do it the old-fashioned way, you might be waiting um, upwards of 30 seconds for your trade to go through. So yeah, our brokerage of choice is Tasty Trade for that reason.
Cool. Well, hey, I just want to thank you guys for coming on this call. I want to be respectful of your time. I know I said that and we've kind of gone long. So if you have any other questions, feel free to what are the two other API options brokers?
Yeah, there's Alpaca, which the liquidity on Alpaca is not as good as Tasty Trade. And then only the other one would be IBKY or Interactive Brokers. That's the other one. But again, they do not allow socket connections, and they actually, yes, that's it. And the setup to get going is a lot more work. It's not very user friendly, and in the amount of information that you need to provide to them to get set up to trade with automation is a little invasive, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, Larry, yeah, if you guys want to sign up, I'll just have Tyler drop the checkout link to everybody. And you can just Stacks Investing slash checkout. Um, yeah. And yeah, you can join up, and then when you join up, it'll basically you'll schedule a setup call with Tyler, and he'll get you all squared away. There's some stuff we got to do on your local side of things, and then get you set up with cloud computing to get it all ready to rock. So there's a little bit of setup time, but it's Tyler. The guy you see is going to be the guy that's helping you get all set up. So and like I
Yeah.
said. It's $400 a month. And you don't have to worry about, we're not going to have any sales. We're not going to have a promotion. If you sign up this month, we're not going to give somebody else a different deal next month. It's $400 a month for everybody. Everybody is going to pay that exact same amount. So whether you join now or join later, it'll be the same. You don't have to worry about, a discount at some point and you get an undercut. So, I feel like it's a really good value for the system that we have and what we're building and to be part of this group. And if you guys choose to be part of it, thanks. Thanks for your time tonight, and we look forward to working with you.
Yes, we're active every day. So anytime you have questions, you just put that in our Discord.
Yep. So my Discord name is Backwoods Disco, and so when you show up, send me a link, say hi. And I'll be on there every day answering your questions, helping you out with what you need. Like I said, I'm trying to consistently add more things to it to make it easier for you to understand what's going on, find the information you need, and help us all help each other. If we sign up and you guys help with automation setup, do you provide analysis every day? Um, what do you mean by analysis? Hey Solomons, thanks for being here. Appreciate you. Thanks, Larry.
Thank you,
Appreciate your
Solomon. Thank you,
time.
Larry.
Yeah, David, do you want to just expand on like what kind of analysis? Basically, to while you're typing, to update like the analysis every time a trade comes out, it'll alert and it'll go to automation, but it'll also send one of those alerts to our Discord, and you can go back to it. Yeah, Tyler, if you want to bring that up. So then you can go back and you can see exactly how that, um, okay, so that one right there. So there'll be a chart at the bottom, and you'll see basically where that alert came out and then how the market reacted or where it went after that. So it peaked right there, but it went up and down. So you could look at that and you can say, all right, hey, I got in here. It went up to, above that is where we show the different um, targets. So um, to get to 50% profit, how much of a drawdown was that? So it looks like that one's
Negative
so
9.9%, all the
yeah.
way
So
to
if
100%.
you had a 10% stop loss from your original entry, you would be able to you'd still be in that trade. It wouldn't have ever stopped you out. And then you can kind of look at that and it'll provide analysis for how much the drawdown was from entry and how much the drawdown was from a specific high for 5% profit, 10, 15, 20, all the way up to 100. So, and then you'll also be able to look at the chart to see how it what happened in the market after that alert came out. So, and then the specific analysis will just be on your specific settings on how your trade did when that alert came out. So the monthly price won't increase even with futures and crypto in the future. So right now, so the what you're paying for with this price is the automation system and the current dual trend alerts and their automation that we have here. It's all kind of included in the package. As we come out with more updates, more signals that will go on the marketplace, those will be additional, monthly subscriptions, and those will, that'll be to pay those whoever came up with that strategy. So if you have a good strategy, that's another way that you can earn some money. So those will be additional subscriptions, and then futures will be an additional subscription, and then crypto will also be an additional subscription, but they won't be more than they all work with the automation system. What you're paying for with the $400 is your automation system. You're paying for your gym membership, and all these other options are basically different training programs that you can do if you want to go back to that analogy. So those will all be more different monthly prices. We don't know what those are yet because we haven't come out with that. But they will be. Now that said, with the automation, you just trade one thing at a time. So it's not like, it's at least at this point, you wouldn't be signed up to futures and crypto and a bunch of different strategies all at once. You're going to kind of pick what you want to do with futures or crypto or swing options or day trade options, and then it'll go from there. But the main part of the system that you're paying for with that $400 is the automation. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it gives
And
you access to all the software as we release the software. But if you want like customized strategies, then that might be extra.
yeah. Anything else? Cool, guys. Well, thanks, Tyler. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it. Keep doing your awesome coding stuff. Look forward to chatting in the morning as the market's open. And if you guys decide to join us, look forward to seeing you. Be sure to hit me up when you come on a Discord and tell me you were on this call with me, so I can put your Discord name to your face or your blank screen, whatever, so I know that you're in this call with us.
I couldn't
So
couldn't get to
yeah.
my unmute button quick enough, but
Oh yeah.
definitely wanted to add a footnote to anybody that's on the fence. It does work, as I've mentioned. I've watched Tyler build this from the ground up. And I've seen those that doubt regret the doubt, if that makes any sense. So I promise you, if you follow through and subscribe, you won't regret it.
Thanks, Aaron. Appreciate it.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Aaron.
Yeah, no problem.